Hello everyone, my name is Isaac Segundo and welcome to my YouTube channel. Matter of fact, welcome to my first video on YouTube. In my channel, we're going to be talking a lot about SharePoint and how to do certain things out of the box. We're going to talk about how to do things with JavaScript or maybe things with Power Apps, Microsoft Flow, just things that I encounter at work. And if I have a solution, I'll probably just share with you all in a video. Today, I'm going to be talking about using VueJS with SharePoint. VueJS and SharePoint is something that I use a lot at work, and I absolutely love it because it helps to simplify a lot of things that I need to take care of in a very speedy way. For those of you that are not familiar with VueJS, VueJS is a framework that can be compared to React, Angular, or Ember. And all these frameworks, all they do is help make things that are created in a complex way with JavaScript, it simplifies it. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean as I show you what I'm going to be showing you. So, as I said, VueJS is a framework. It's simple, it's easy to learn, easy to pick up. And it's by far the easiest that I've picked up out of all the frameworks. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So first of all, I have this list. It's called a site lookup list. And you see it has these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. Region, site. And what I want to do is I want to display this on a page using Vue, so I can be able to search it and different things. So let's see. So this is the page. I created this using Vue, and all I'm doing is just rendering the items in my list that I just showed you onto the page, and then I can be able to filter it. So northern, as you can see, it filters and it's very fast. Western, and then this search site is going to search just this column here. And if I do PC, see how fast that is, and corp. So that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do. And as I'm showing you how to do this, my whole objective is just to teach you a little bit about Vue at the same time, and so you can know how to use it with SharePoint. Now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from scratch. So my first stage is I'm just going to show you how to render the list items to a page. It won't have the drop box here, and this functionality won't be there. All I'm going to do is just show you how to render this to a page, and we're going to build up in a series of videos up to what we're looking at here. So let's get started. So I'm in Office 365 SharePoint Online, and I'm going to go to my web parts library, look up, and I already have some pages that have been created. Let me go to my HTML page so you can see. Click on that. Let me edit this. And in my HTML page, I have a table heading, and the data is not displayed yet, where I loop through all the items in my list, but we're gonna get there. Most importantly, I have my VueJS library that I'm referencing. I also have this jQuery library that I'm referencing as well, because that's what I'm going to be using for my to grab data with REST. Then I have this Bootstrap link. Then I have a reference to my JavaScript file where my Vue is going to be. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we get started, let me show it to you in a code pen first. Just some things first. So whenever you're using Vue, after you have had a reference to your VueJS file library, you want to always wrap it in a div. And you can call it app. Usually folks call it app, but you can call it whatever you want, because this div is where Vue is going to do all its work. Now in the JavaScript portion, you're going to create your Vue instance, and the way you do that is new Vue you have this, you have L, which stands for element, and that element is going to be pointing to app. So right here, it's pointing to app. And we're going to do all of this when we go back to SharePoint. You have this data option here. And within this data option, everything that you do in here, you're able to display it in here. So let's say, for example, I have this test. Hello, SharePoint world. Now, in order for you to display this test in here, you have to surround it with curly braces. So test, as you can see. Now, I'm showing you all this so you can understand when we go to SharePoint. It'll make more sense. Same thing, so I can also create an array. So let's say I say my array. And I say, let me just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if I want to display that array, let me just create an unordered list. LI. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to do a V. So we have these things in Vue called directives, and if you're familiar with Angular, you understand what directives are. So a directive basically is just a special token that you add to an element to give it some type of functionality. So some of the elements in Vue are vif, v4, vmodel, and I'm going to go over all these as we continue. But we're going to use the v4 directive. So v-4. And here's how you use it. v-4 equal to, and what I want to do is I want to loop through this array. So I'm going to say item in my array. And item. Now let's go over this. I have my array here, and then I'm looping through it. This item is just an alias. It can also have been ZZ, and you get the same results. This is just an alias that you're going to use as you loop through your array, and that's how you display it. Another thing I want to show you is we have one of the other options or properties is called methods. And in the methods, this is basically going to be a container for all of your methods for your application. So you can have several methods. So for example, I'm going to say, what should I call this? Let's say, I'm going to just call it example1 function. Alert. Hello there. Now the way to do this in Vue, just like in JavaScript, you have what you call event listeners. So you can create an event listener. So I'm going to create an event listener on this, and the way you do that is v-on. That's another directive. And I'm going to say, listen for the event click. Listen for the click event. And when there's a click, call this method, ex1. So let's see what happens. See? See, hello there. Hello there. Hello there. You know, and as I said, this is where all your functions are going to be. So if I do, let's see, I can create another one, ex2, function. So I can come in here and I can say 2. Hello again. So now I'm calling a different function. So this methods option here, or property, this is where all your functions, all your methods for your application is going to be. So I've gone over VON. For the VON, a shortcut for that, because we use it so much, is you can use the @ sign. And it does the same thing. It's the same thing as VON. So if I come here and I click on that, hello again. See, it does the exact same thing. So we've gone over the Vue instance. We've gone over the ID equal to app. You got to have everything needs to be surrounded. We've gone over the expression using the curly braces. Gone over VON and V4. Now let's go back to SharePoint and kind of recreate what we have. So what I want to do now is I want to render from our list, bring from our list all the items and render it to the page. So I kind of have a head start here. I have our view, reference to our view, jQuery, Bootstrap. We don't need to worry about that. I have my headings here. Now let's go to this file here, step1.js. So let me go to that really quick. Step1.js. Click on that. Okay, so we have this file. Now here's where our Vue instance, we've seen the HTML part of what we're going to build. Now here, let's start with our Vue. So remember, to create an instance, a Vue instance, it's new, Vue, parentheses, braces, and then everything goes in here. Do you remember what happens next? So now you have L, which stands for element. We're going to point to our app. That's the name of our div. So now it's gonna. This is how it mounts this instance to the view, to the HTML. And now for our data portion. So this option here is object. And now we're gonna go ahead and start to add our data. So what I'm gonna do though is just add a PG. This is basically the name of our array. It's a weird name, but let's deal with that for now. So PG. And what I'm gonna do is, what I plan on doing is, when I bring in the items from my SharePoint list, I'm going to dump it into this array, and then I'm going to loop through it with the v4 directive so it can be displayed on the page. So let's go ahead and do that. Created function. I'm going to explain created in a second. And what I want to do with this dot get list data. Okay. Then I have methods. Now remember I talked about methods, and within this method I'm going to have my method. So which is get list data. And I want to explain this in a second. Just let me write all this first. Function, and then it's being passed a name, a list name. So let me just go over here. Just basically, so I don't have to type all this stuff in. So let's do this, paste. All right. Okay. So I have my PG here, which is my array. Everything that gets called from this AJAX is going to be dumped into here. Now, what is this created? Now, in Vue, we have these things called life cycle hooks. And let me share with you the life cycle diagram here. So here's the life cycle diagram. So this is the view life cycle hook. It's the diagram. And we don't need to understand everything, but I just wanted to go over created because I'm using created in what I'm using. So basically created, it says it calls synchronously after the instance has been created, and once it's finished processing the options and it's set, that's when it calls whatever is in there. So for example, let me bring this over. So call synchronously after the instance is created. At this stage, the instance has finished processing the options, which means the following have been set up. Data observation, computer properties, methods, watch, event. So that's what that is. So if you go back to the code, let's go back to the code. So after this has been, after the options has been set up, the only options we have in here so far is just the methods, and then we have data. After all that has been set, then this gets called. So that's what this created function is. It allows you to hook into, depending on where you are in your instance, to hook into it. So this created, it calls this function, and as you can see, I'm using this. Now, whenever you have an instance to refer to anything in a data or any of the methods, you refer to it using this. So this is how I call it. And then it goes through the whole jQuery Ajax thing, REST API, and it dumps all the data into this PG, into this array. And let me see. Now, you notice here, I have var that equal to this. Now, because we get into a different, what is it called? Because this scope is different, you know, the scope is different, you have to use that equal to this, and then use that in here. Because if you use this, because it's a different scope, it won't work. So I have that equal to this, and then that PG to refer to this array. And then you dump it all in there. So let me save this page. Save. Okay. Now let's go. Let me come here first. Let's go to our page. Okay. Oh, nothing is displaying. I'm sure you know why. So let's go back to our code. Oh, HTML right here. So we haven't really looped through our PG array. TR. Who's in TR? Right. TD. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. Seven columns. Now let's loop. So the way we loop, as I showed you in that code pen, v-for directive equal to, I'm going to use an alias. I'm going to call it item in PG. That's how you loop through the array. Now, to reference it, to render it, you have to have your braces. And then use your alias dot region. Actually, that first one is, okay, hold on a second. Let me pause the video really quick to get the different name. Okay, so this first one is an edit, and I'm going to show you that functionality later. How we're going to be able to click on, make that clickable to bring up the edit form. And then item dot title. Dump that in there. So site, and these names here are the columns in our SharePoint list. So title, site, city, the internal names of our SharePoint list, excuse me. Zip, and here we have phone. Now usually when I create my SharePoint columns, I don't put any spaces between them, if they're more than one word. But in this one I totally forgot, so I have to add that space. So number, and then ext, save. So let me go back and see if this works. And there you have it. And Bootstrap is what makes it look pretty, because I have Bootstrap. So there you have it. I don't have any functionality now. Don't forget, we have to go now in our next video. I'm going to add the drop down and then the filter where it filters this table, and then probably in a different video show you how to link this up to bring up the edit form of the SharePoint list. I hope you enjoyed this video, my very first video. I hope it made sense. If there's something you don't understand, please leave your comments below. I'd appreciate it. I'm just trying to get better at doing this, and just let me know. And take care and go Vue. Bye.